Alright, I was not actually gonna stream this 'cause I actually was gonna make a video of it, but you know what? I'm lazy. I don't feel like formatting the not formatting, rendering the damn video and then making sure it's 1080 like that. I feel like it's easy to do it on stream. I'm gonna do it on stream. Before I start, I'm gonna say there's lots of content on YouTube, and I mean lots of content where I have learned some stuff from it, and I just keep going in circles. And numerology, man, it's on fire, dude. Like I knew about numerology in 2011 or 12, but I just never really got into it. And this past the 28th of February, I purposely waited to actually put something on sale for my mom. And as soon as I put it, even after 2 hours, it freaking sold, man. And the funny thing is, she was asking for 150. I'm like, well, if they want to go a little bit low, what's the lowest you're gonna go? And she said 80, and then 8 is a number of wealth or number of money according to GG33. And some of the books also mentioned that. That's why um, we ended up doing that sell phenomenally well. And but it's just crazy how a lot of things. And I've been noticing a lot of the dumb decisions that I've been making in the past 15, 20 years, like the people that I surrounded myself with, the things that I'm drawn into have all been enemies years, enemy signs. I'm like, shit, no wonder I'm fucking messed up. No wonder I'm in the way it is. And I'll explain to you why. But before I do, let me mention these three channels right here. I'm gonna put them in the link below. Cause some of you guys want to be have a business or the future you want to have your own video game store. And Retro Rick is a guy that is pretty much he mentioned in one of the videos. I don't know if he mentioned this or on his second channel. That's why it's very important that as soon as you start doing your channel, even if it's not that high in subscription count, make multiple channels because you might never know if you get a copy strike and then you don't get uh freaking like can't do sponsorships anymore. On your second channel, you do backups and on stuff like that because I mean nobody's perfect. Some people they try to be fair as much as possible, and the freaking AIs or moderators they pick up something that they might not like for whatever reason. Because I've been seeing everything on top of the freaking moon that people get demonetized for like the dumbest reasons on YouTube. Anyways, Retro Rick, a guy that ended up seeing a store. Now, Arkansas, I don't know how when Arkansas was found and everything, but I'm blown away how Arkansas has a lot of good video game stores. And if you're around Arkansas, like if you're like in a neighboring state like Missouri or something, dude, the Little Rock area is filled with businesses. I was surprised. I thought it was like a freaking rural place, like a mess. Man, where I live, dude, is basically like a freaking rural place. So don't judge its book by its cover. I thought Arkansas was like a shithole place. Man, it's a phenomenal place. I heard very good things about Louisiana as well, especially good food there. But I'm not talking about Louisiana. I'm gonna talk about Arkansas. This guy saw a video game store. He gambled. Now the thing, when people become successful, they usually become successful whenever there's other people around you to support you. If you do it by yourself and if there's no support, you're probably gonna end up failing, especially whenever there's a lot of energy vampires or jealousy or they throw that thing that we call the evil eye. You're gonna come down really quick, and that's what I've been seeing. This guy thought that he could have gotten a big loan. I guess he ended up getting good credit. That's why getting good credit is really good, guys. Some of you people ended up getting freaking loans, 1,000 loans, and then 500 loans, and then you don't end up paying back, or you get a freaking credit card. And some of the credit cards they even force you to pay because if you don't pay it, You go to, I think they, I don't know what happens here. I think you can go to prison. But like, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of these have consequences. So if you build up your credit, by the time you're like in your 30s and 40s, and one of the fastest ways to build credit is just to buy stuff and make sure to pay it. Get a freaking furniture, man. Furnitures are kind of expensive, but if you can pay it under your name and shit, vehicles, assets like that. Now, if you pay a house, man, under your name, holy fuck. Not everybody could do that. But anyways, Retro Rick, he ended up, I think he's about getting, in other words, he got a loan for more than 50,000. I can't tell you the number, and I don't know if he's making a profit, but most places, especially it depends on the state, of course, like Florida, Texas, the state of Idaho, which I want to live for personal reasons. A lot of states that don't really tax your ass, that you have to really report them manually, like every so often, but they don't necessarily automatically tax the hell out of you in businesses. If you make a profit of more than $20,000, and if you have a full-time job, it's doable. Now, what I've been noticing, I think 10 to 20K was like an okay number if you had a full-time job before the pandemic, but after the pandemic, I've been noticing, man, dude, you gotta make more than 20,000. Now, Retro Rick, I don't know what's the profit. Of course, he doesn't want to say because of course, it's kind of personal, obvious. But this guy, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that were helping him. I think he got a $150,000 loan or something like that. And he ended up buying, and then a lot of the stuff that he ended up when he opened up the store, he ended up buying a shit ton of merchandise for his store. Now, what I've been noticing about Retro Rick is he goes to conventions. You gotta be a person that likes to travel. That's one of my fucking weaknesses, man. I don't like traveling, and I'm afraid of heights. I don't know how I'm gonna actually be going to airport. Now, a lot of the times people go to Japan. This is not the case that much anymore. But like for the early 2010s, 2000s, people were going to Japan and buying bulk items. Mostly Nintendo handhelds, Nintendo hardware, consoles like freaking Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo. Like there was a lot of money to be made for the Nintendo 64. People buying N64 consoles in bulks, and I don't know how much they were. And then they were fixing them up, and some of them were like in somewhat good condition. And then they just open them and fix a lot of the things. And your average N64 for Japan goes anywhere between 100 and 180, which is might think, well, that's a lot of no, that's not a lot of money. I think some Xbox 360 go for like almost the same amount of the. Now for the American N64, they go for anywhere between 150. No, I think it's 180 to 300 bucks more or less. And I've seen the golden N64s go for like 300 and something, the American, then the Japanese N64 going for like 150, 160, something like that, like half the price. So buying bulk, especially the timing is everything when it comes to like becoming successful. Uh, and just about everything. And I feel like the 90s was like the perfect time to buy bulks in cards. They'd be Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. There was a lot of card games. I know a lot of the Marvel stuff has been picking up a little bit on price lately because everybody's just indulged in getting into Marvel and DC. A lot of those cards they've been going now up in price, but they weren't going up in price in the 2000s. So a lot of the money that was being made was in the 90s was cards in my opinion. 2000s was pretty much consoles. Like I said, people buying in bulks is another good channel. Phoenix Resale buying consoles left and right. Freaking GameCubes in the late 2000s weren't that expensive, and then people buying PS2s left and right, opening them up. Dude, there was a lot of broken PS2s. My PS2 that I play, I shit you not, it was outside for like over 5 years collecting dust. It didn't work. As soon as I put a hard drive full with games, it worked phenomenally well. Of course, the laser doesn't work, so if I put a disc and if I put some DVDs, it won't pick it up because I probably need to replace the laser and I don't know how to fucking do it, but everything works well. Like freaking PS2s, I was seeing some of the price 10 years ago. They were going for like 20, $30 a piece. Uh 30 something like that because the shipping is kind of was expensive and now it's even way more expensive. So like the shipping for like the flat rate box was like probably around 14, 15, 16 bucks. Now it's like 18, $20, something like that. So like people were selling it for like 20, 25. They were making like freaking $5 profit, $10 profit, somewhere around there. So, but they were like people were buying a bunch of them. So if you had like 20 of them, people will buy one person will buy like 10 in just one sitting. So the velocity, this is what the guy that was mentioning about velocity. Man, I really wanted to stream and play this channel right here, but this guy didn't give me a freaking he didn't he basically ignored me. And that's the thing, like a lot of these people, just because I'm a 700 subscriber guy, I'm not somebody that has 50,000 or more subscribers. I get, for the most part, a lot of big YouTubers, they ignore me for the most part. But man, I wish they can actually eat their words in the future when I become successful. I'm an 8 life path, man. And 8 life paths, if you didn't know, you're living life kind of poor at one point in your life, then you're gonna live a life with money at one point. And there was one year that I actually made $4,000 on eBay, sorry. And I didn't make a lot of profit, even though I should have. I think it was in 2018, not 17. Yeah, I think it was 2018. And that year, I wasn't even working, but I was getting most of my money from getting on money on eBay. And I did velocity over sales, and this guy mentioned this that a lot of times whenever you want to actually make sure you move the product and sell, you want to do velocity. So mention, hey, if I paid $120 for it, I'll sell it to you for 80. Now, going back to the magic number, eight number of money of wealth. Bingo, sold it. So he sells things. Now, one of the things that you can do, and this is very smart, is that whatever you paid, you multiply that by 0.80. Of course, you're gonna get a little bit less. You're gonna end up selling. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these companies or big sellers that are giving like freaking 25%, 20% off, they're doing that. Whatever they have it for sale, they multiply by 0.8, multiply that by 0.80, and then they get the result, and then they have that discounted price. I think it's probably 15, 20, 25% off, something like that. And it sells, man. It pretty much sells. And my profits was at 1.1, 1.2 margins, which kind of sucked. I feel like I should start going to at 1.80. Because if I start going above two, like you're being dickish, but at the same time, like, dude, nobody is gonna actually come to your help, come to your aid whenever you're really, really begging. Nobody, you gotta do something in order to get out of poverty, man. You gotta do like get that profit, man. And this is what this guy was saying in this video that he basically had no money, didn't know if he had food to put on the table for him and his family. Now, I connected a lot with this guy. There was a lot of things he mentioned that was basically like me, minus the wife. Not married, and I don't have a girlfriend, anyways. This guy mentioned that he gambled. So what he did was something that Retro Rick didn't do, but I think Retro Rick kind of did, was that he started buying stuff over time. I think that's the smartest thing you want to do in business. I feel like if you're a teenager at 17, 18, you should start scalping little by little. One of the smartest things is that if you're gonna get a game, make sure you get two or three copies. You get one for yourself and you save up the two others if you think that's gonna do really good on the future. And buying inventory, dude, is gonna cost you a shit ton. It's gonna probably cost you two, three times. And a lot of times, this is where Retro Rick comes in. He goes to conventions, and then since a lot of these people know he's a YouTuber, they might promote his freaking businesses. They make a good profit. Or if you're really good at socializing and telling people, hey, let's work things out. You want to sell this for 800, and we do 600, and then they'll go in the middle, and then they'll make the transaction. A lot of times you wanna, if you're going to conventions, you gotta make sure you freaking sell. You buy much cheaper if you go to prices now. This guy right here, Toy Quest, he's very form and heart on what he wants. So that's another approach you can do is like you cannot compromise and go much lower unless you know it's a win-win situation where hey, what am I gonna get out of it? Like I'm sure I'm selling it, but I know I can sell it for like $800. Why would I sell it to you for 600? And it's very important to have a YouTube channel because if they're seeing the content and then you're being noticed, hey, pues, this guy is Toy Quest and I'm Retro Rick, and I think they've been in a channel together at one point. They get noticed, so of course Toy Quest is gonna do a good offer to Retro Rick. Why? Because Retro Rick has over 200,000 subscribers, and this is gonna help the subscription following for Toy Federation. Honestly, Toy Federation, I looked him up. I think his business is in Pennsylvania. He has an eBay account as well, and he's been selling a few other stuff. He has some Doom stuff that I've been noticing as well. And you can go his route where you're a little bit more hardline on your what you want to sell, what you don't want to sell. I've been noticing that. Now, one of the things this guy mentioned that is very important, one of the most important things, like probably top three in the business, is be a good having a good customer satisfaction. I've been to how many car shops? Because I consider car shops to be like a video game store in a way. Well, let's say entertainment stores because they're not a video game, but it's a form of satisfaction of selling something to actually enjoy and being part of a community. So let me see. One, one, two, four. I got to four in the past 4 years. Four different business stores. Wait, four or five? Yeah, four. And all of them had one thing in common. They weren't really good at introducing themselves. Well, one of them, and I'm actually have good connections with. For the meantime, he actually closed down his store, but he's gonna probably get more. For the right now, he needs money, so he's gonna wait until like things get better before he opens up his business. And he was telling me that damn, I freaking blanked out. Okay, yeah, he introduced me. He was at least a little bit sociable when he was talking to me. Now he made really good deals. He made sure to actually treat me nice, having good communication. Hey, work things out with your buyers. Like as a seller, you want to have good customer satisfaction, and that's the thing that I've been noticing. Dude. Look at GameStop. Look at freaking what's the other company? Limited Runs. The companies that are like for physical gaming. Why is it that people who want to sell a product, it'd be cards, it'd be music, it'd be video games, they're fucking completely utter douchey, man. Like they're and then you wonder why they're not doing as good. I don't think GameStop is doing as good as they were. I think in 2000, what was it? 18 or 19 they were like in trouble, and then I think Pokemon saved them or something like that. And then like some of their merchandise they're not selling as quick as they want to. And of course, they're trying to get as much profit as possible, like other businesses, like Big Bad Toy Store, for example. They rarely have selling the stuff they want to liquidate and have like quickly sell it. It's stuff that they've been in the stores for years, and they're like like I think they see a chart or something, and they say like, man, you know what, Star Wars is not selling. Let's put Star Wars at be 30% off, 40% off, or some shit like that, dude. And this guy, you're gonna learn a lot from him. Like this video. Then there was another channel where he came out, and I can't find it. Like I sent it to somebody else on my phone, and he mentioned very similar things to this video, but he mentioned other stuff as well. Like, and then there was another guy that looked like him, kind of bald, but he had glasses. Then was mentioning how to actually become successful in a business or something like that. He mentioned very, very important things. I'm like, damn. And this guy, he opened up this video game store. Man, can't lie to you. I think it was in 2021. I'm not entirely sure, but it was like not too long ago. Retro Rick opened up the video game store like a year ago, 2020 or 22. I think it was last year. Toy Federation, I think, has been longer. The thing about Toy Federation that dude, freaking warehouses, his business is freaking huge. Space is another important thing that I've been noticing is that a lot of us collectors is that we get a little bit, I'm not gonna say depressed. We get a little bit disappointed and a little bit kind of sad at the same time that we want to collect, but then we're running out of space, and then we're like, man, what kind of stuff I want to collect? You become a little bit more picky because you're running out of space, and then the very little space that you can have, you can actually put it. So that's why having one in the family is probably like kind of selfish, but at the same time awesome if you want to have like a big collection if you live with your parents, unless you buy your own house. And dude, having a house in some states like California, dude, it's gonna cost you a freaking fortune. Like a house that can cost me 100 grand in Texas is gonna cost you 800,000. Well, probably a little bit less, probably like $600,000 or $500,000. In California, like the pricing of housing and the products, it's insane in some states, man. And what was I gonna mention something about this? I should have write everything down because I know I'm forgetting things. Aside from customer satisfaction as well, these people are very stressful. They don't have good health. Retro Rick doesn't look like he's like completely obese. He looks like probably like 10, 20 pounds overweight, which I wish I was 10, 20 pounds. I'm a little bit much heavier than that. This guy looks a little bit more heavier, so Toy Federation looks more like in shape. I wouldn't be surprised if he's constantly under stress. Now, the thing that's a good distressor that these people should start using numerology and making sure, you know what, numerology make sure that if this thing is not selling, the percentage, and this is the thing about numerology. Numerology is not like a 100% thing. Like it increases the chance of something happening with the type of stuff you want to do. So for like you want to open up a video game store and you want to become successful at it, you make sure you open this business on 8, 17, 26, 28. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, it does make sense. That's why a lot of businesses don't end up lasting for too long because they don't use the power of 8, the power of bringing in money and wealth to their lives whenever they open up business. And then they open up a business, and then like a year, 2 years, like he mentioned, he knows a lot of people that ended up closing. One of the things that a lot of people ended up closing is that they think that having 10K, 20,000 is gonna help them actually gain that profit. A lot of the freaking whenever you start, a lot of the times you ended up just getting like 10K profit back. So if you start with 10K and you get 10K back, no wonder you're gonna close in like 1 year, man. Like You need to actually make sure you get more profit for what you have. So, in other words, I think like a good number to start a business, and this is just my honest opinion, it depends on what kind of like a video game store to me, like, and it depends on which state you live in, but I think like most states in the US, and this excludes California and I think Nevada, because Nevada and California are very expensive states. I think 80,000 is a good number. Now, with those 80,000s, is that gonna include inventory? Because holy fuck, is that gonna include uh the places you actually gonna rent? This guy, I think, bought the area and he owns it. Retro Rick, I think that's the reason why he ended up getting 100,000 more loan. I think he ended up buying the area and then he ends up paying back the loan, but towards the bank with interest rates. I think one of the interest rates he mentioned it was like $8,000. So, oh man, that's yeah, it's a big freaking percentage back. So yes, a business you gotta make sure to actually know what you're doing in advance. Gotta make sure to one of the things that I noticed that Retro Rick is really bad at doing is that he buys a lot of statues, and I know statues right now is the stuff that's gonna bring up the most money. And I forgot to mention this. 2010s was the CIB stuff, because I mentioned the 90s was cards, 2000s was consoles, 2010s is the CIB stuff. In other words, boxes. It doesn't have to be boxes. It can be anything. Like if you have a toy, make sure the toy is incomplete in box or unopened. Everything CIB in the 2010s, we saw that people making a ton of profit during the pandemic. Like the stuff that was making a lot of profit, that CIB stuff, CIB stuff. Now the stuff that I noticed now in the 2020s, and I can be wrong, but this is what I've been noticing, is the hot toys. And you're like, well, what do you mean by hot toys? Hot toys means like toys that are freaking expensive. Not the most toys that are like 20 bucks, 15 bucks, 30 bucks, 40, 60 bucks. No. Hot toys where they're like over $200, man. Hot toys go anywhere between 200 and 1,000 bucks. Yeah, well, 100 more or less, and 1,000 bucks. And it's freaking ridiculous, man. They were priced for hot toys because they're selling it at more or less how statues are being sold. So toys, they're like the material and the product. It's not too expensive to make, but yet they're expensive. But they're limited. That's why they're expensive. And I feel like most of these hot toys 10 years from now is gonna bring up the most profit if we have if we're around because of all the mess that's going on. Like the Mortal Kombat stuff that I've been noticing, like, and then there's that Doom that's being sold as well. The 1/6 scales, dude, they go for 250 bucks, and everybody's making. I saw a Scorpion at Big Bad Toy Store, and I think at Amazon. Yeah, Amazon was selling them for like 230, 220, something like that. And then I didn't see it anymore. The average price was like 250. I don't think not including shipping, but now some people are selling it on eBay at 270, 280 used, and they're like, damn, I want to just get my money back. Now, if you hold on to those toys, I am more than positive that 10 years from now, those hot toys and statues are gonna bring up the most money. Everybody that I've been noticing before the pandemic didn't know much about statues, and now everybody after 2020 they're joining in on the hot toys. They're joining in the statues, and that's slowly becoming the crave. And if you know statues, dude, they're freaking expensive. Some statues go for about $10,000, $15,000. Like it's ridiculous. Like the full sizes, they go around ten to $20,000 a piece. There's some go even way more expensive than that. This is where Retro Rig gets a little bit more crazy. I know he wants to make the store flashy and as great as possible, but he needs to make a like a margin or a chart and making sure, you know what, I want to improve this store, but this is how much on the budget I'm gonna actually buy. and making sure that I buy product that's not gonna sell, but I wanted to make it look good, like the Toys R Us giraffe, like the Simpsons table. Look up his channel. Like he has an amazing array of. He has a freaking big ass Incredible Hulk that is not even life size. It's much bigger than life size. I don't know how much it cost him, but I'm pretty sure that the Incredible Hulk for sure is more than $8,000 for sure. But I'm not entirely sure how much it cost or how much it cost this guy right here, Retro Rick. And let me see what else. The inventory, a lot of others. Like I want to play the video so I can actually go with what he's gonna say. I don't have permission. That's the freaking problem, dude. And these people, they don't recognize me and they don't have any friendship with me because I wouldn't be surprised if they are under my enemy years. And I'll tell you why in a bit. All right, so let me mention something about Toy Federation. If I what was it about? What was I gonna mention about Toy Federation? Okay, now that I saw this, you gotta be very informative. That make sure you don't get knockoffs and all of that. So you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know the game. One of the things that I now remember what this guy mentioned is that you gotta be 100%. Some people are like, you know what? I don't want to open up the store for one day. This guy doesn't have vacation. He has a store open 7 days a week. I wouldn't be surprised if he opened on Christmas because one person wanted to buy something on that specific day. And he said one time, well, there was somebody that called me and they needed something, or you know what? I went straight to the store and wanted to actually tell him. I'm like, dude, who fucking does that in bed? Like this guy has a heart. Like he's one probably if I met him, he's probably a really, really nice guy. Like so that's one thing, man, that he mentioned that you gotta be all the way in. You gotta have your thoughts be indulged in business. Some people they're like they don't want to think about it sometimes, and they're like, you know what? I want to have a day off. I don't want to think about this. And if you think like that, forget about opening up a business store because it's one of those things that like if you play a video game that's very, very addicting and you're constantly thinking of it, if you don't want to really, really be like one of the top people on that game, don't even and you want to really be on top, but at the same time you're not putting the energy like constantly thinking about it every day. Don't get into it. Like if you're gonna be playing tournaments for money, if you don't have that specific game filled your life day in day out, you're not doing it. Like there's this guy named Tasteless on StarCraft, and he said that he couldn't stop thinking about StarCraft back then when he was in high school. Look at him, man. He's a caster and he's very I would say he's a successful person. Sure, he doesn't get the money revenue as much as freaking Artosis. I think Artosis makes more money than him, but that's completely fine. He's still in the game. He's still in Korea, and he's putting a lot of time and investment into StarCraft because you gotta be 100% in it. Because if you're like me, like I have mixed feelings of Doom, and I'll tell you why I have mixed feelings. I feel like I'm not 100% into it, and a lot of the decisions that I make really crap decisions, and I'll tell you why in a bit. And it might makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Okay, so I have ox, rooster. Wait, do I have ox to eat? Ox, rooster, and rat. All right. So one of the GG33 videos mentioned something like roosters is the aggressive energy. What game came out in 1993 that's aggressive? Mortal Kombat. Kind of interesting that I started connecting the dots. I'm like, holy crap. Not only Mortal Kombat came out, but Doom came out. And then Magic the Gathering came out like son of a bitch, man. The games that I get really, really pissed with the community if I get into like tournaments or not tournaments, like competitive, like multiplayer. Like I don't want to compete with other people when it comes to those three games. I freaking lose it really quick because I'm a horse and I just don't like losing, dude. And if people are gonna be pushing me slowly and surely, I can actually start getting on the level of those people, if not better. Like that's the thing why that's the good thing about having horse energy is that you can be a top tier player. Like I can enter tournaments because that's the horse energy, man. Like you wanna push yourself. You're very good at playing sports as well. I need to get more active because I like running, man. And right now I can do 1 mile nonstop and jogging. My goal to do 3 miles, and I've been doing 1 mile since last year, and I started jogging last year. And I think 2019 was probably the last year, so I had like 4 years of not doing, of not being active at running. So yeah, 4 years is a lot in my opinion. But anyways, look at this: ox year, rooster, and rat year. The rat year is basically like the number one enemy sign for horses. Then there's two other ones that are bad, but not as bad as like your number one enemy sign. And this is not only from GG33 information. I've seen this on books as well, and some other people are mentioning that as well. For the Ox, they're mostly for like having all the people getting in together, becoming leaders, and they're very bad at actually having communication. Look at, I feel like Nintendo, I get the years for the Ox years. I feel like Nintendo started before 85, but it didn't mold and become what it became after 1985, after Mario Brothers came along in 1985. So their vision of their company has been untouched, in my opinion, after 1985, which is the Ox year. Everything they've been doing, and look at them, they became leaders at what they do. At one point, they had no competition, man. They were on top, but they are leaders. And guess what? Does the Nintendo Switch make you communicate with other people? Can you connect towards other players? Like Ox are very bad at communicating, and look at that. That Nintendo's very bad at communicating with other people. See how this shit connects, dude? You go on a freaking trip. Here goes and I wouldn't be surprised if the people that don't like me or unsubscribe me or they just don't like me in general are people born in 1997, 2008, 1985, or 1973. I don't know if there's any older than that. Here's another enemy years of me, of my sign. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people that are born in 1983, 1981, 2005 that don't like me. Now, Doom came out in 1993, and Doom had like I never been really good with the Doom community. If I've been born in 1993, and I've been in a location and place that is favorable towards me, and roosters are very favorable towards Texas. Now, if I would have been born in 1983, I would have been doing what I'm doing, dude. I would have been successful right now. I would have probably had more than 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I wouldn't probably been, I wouldn't left the Discord community for Doom. I think I got banned in one, and like the other one I left. I wouldn't, like, I would have been more connected towards the Doom community, and I'm not connected towards the Doom community because it's an enemy sign. And I never noticed why. I thought, man, maybe the Doom community is kind of douchey. But I'm like, I understand now why. The energy, it's not favorable to me. The game was released in 1993. And then the worst part of all as well, I collect Scorpion Mortal Kombat stuff. I don't know if you guys seen my statues. Another game started in 1983. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. I keep making the wrong freaking decisions. The only thing that I've been collecting that has not been in my enemy year, and I've been kind of been more successful at it, has been Resident Evil for the, and I think I've been really good at Chrono Trigger, but I never got into that community because it's a single player. But look at that, man. This doesn't lie, dude. 1983. And then this one hurts me a lot right here. The freaking rat. Wait, is it the rat? This hurt me knowing that Doom 64 came out in 1997 and that's an ox. I'm like, man, everything is going against me. I understand why. Even the nickname and username for the YouTube that I used has to correlate with what kind of your life path and your secondary life path. A lot has to do. Now you see why some people are like Mr. Beast. If you ask me why Mr. Beast is successful, it's not because he's a naturally really good at what he does. All the type of energies that he's doing. I don't know if he's aware of numerology and all of the other occult knowledge. That guy has almost everything going for him because his timing, when he does things, is phenomenally well. Not only Mr. Beast, but PewDiePie is another guy that he did phenomenally well. The timing and everything was going accordingly to him. I'm pretty sure he's not an enemy sign for his YouTube because YouTube got started 2005. Freaking YouTube, 2005. That platform, which I know there's other platforms. It started on the rooster year. So people that are roosters, they're very good at they're probably really good at having a YouTube content and their subscription count is probably a lot higher than anybody who's a freaking horse. Because YouTube started in the year of 2005. Let's move on with the rat year, which is like the enemy sign, and this really hurts me a lot as well. Nine, well, I'm not gonna say the year, but my mom is a rat, and a lot of the decisions that she's been telling me, like the not so important decisions, but the decisions, you know how every mother she has that sixth sense. Those have been right about my safety and about the important decisions, like you know what, talk to this type of women, or you know what, go for this type of specific job, or you know how parents want the best for their kids. They all been very crappy, and the energy and my energy are polar opposites. So the type of decisions she's been throwing at me has been really not so good, and now I understand why. Also, Doom is the fourth letter of the alphabet. So I wouldn't be surprised if the people who play Doom are all people that are freaking security guards, law enforcement, cops, um, or just people who like really control things. You know, for a game that has Metallica and has all this chaotic stuff, for a game that starts with D, Doom, which is the four letter, they want order. They don't want chaos. They don't want the Metallica, the yeah, dude, no. It's you got the more like the long hair dudes, they're not that many for Doom because of the letter D. There's more of that average stereotype law enforcement guy, which is the short-haired, chubby guy vibes, because that's most of the law enforcement. Because being in a law enforcement dude is very stressful. So your average cop, average law enforcement is kind of like freaking 20 pounds or more overweight. And see one thing here for the rat year. Look at that, man. 2020 was the rat year. You will see why I don't like Doom Eternal. Now you see why I don't like Doom Eternals. It came out on my enemy year, and I appreciate Doom Eternal a little bit more, but I just don't like it, dude. Now it makes perfect sense. The people that are born on 1984, and it's funny because I was talking to one of these chicks, and it seems like I'm always fighting with her, and we were gonna supposedly hang out, but there's just something about her that I just don't trust her. That's why I didn't want to actually meet her. And I think she's born in '84, dude, and it's I don't know why I'm always drawn towards and people that are in my enemy year. And I think it has to do with your energy. Like if you start appreciating more things, taking care of more of yourself, and drinking, fasting, and I stress it. This is a spiritual warfare. You're gonna start attracting people that are good for your energy on a numerology. And whenever you're suffering, you're gonna be attracting the people that are your enemy signs, people that are gonna make sure that are gonna get you in trouble, making sure that if you're gonna get married, you're gonna attract the person that's gonna be on your freaking enemy years. Or that if you're actually gonna have a best friend and you think you're gonna trust that best friend, guess what? That best friend is gonna be in your enemy year. And like then you wonder why you don't trust nobody, and then you wonder why you're lonely. Then you wonder why your life is so messed up that you think, what's the point of actually living? Look at that, man. Fix yourself within, and slowly you're gonna start attracting more people that are in favor of your energy, not against your energy. And this is the fucked up world that I thought everybody could be friends in this world. In this world, there you got the yin yang. No matter how things happen. You always have the polar opposite of this. People that have kids, like my mom is an enemy sign. Now I understand why I don't trust most women. Women who don't trust men, I wouldn't be surprised if their dad is born on an enemy sign. So you gotta be very careful of when you're gonna have kids and all the timing, dude, and opening up a business. Because these people, I think Toy Quest did a probably Toy Federation, sorry, he did a phenomenal job at probably choosing a good year because he's been around for a while. But these two people, I'm not sure if they actually open up on their energies that is favorable towards them. We shall see, man, if they're gonna be successful at least 5 years from now. I don't know what's the channel for this guy, and then Phoenix Resale. I know Phoenix Resale was struggling years back, like a little bit before the pandemic. I think it was 2017, 18. And has been making a good amount of profit. He's making more than $50,000 of profit. This guy's making more than $50,000 profit. I wouldn't be surprised if Retro Rick is making that. And this guy right here, that's why I'm mentioning these people, because these people are prime examples of some people to actually look up to when it comes to actually uh, having this successful energy because they got the vibes, they got a lot of going. But are they familiar with numerology? Are they familiar with all this occult knowledge that your average Joe doesn't know? And now I understand, man, dude. At the age of, wow, well, you know what? I don't care if I say my age. At the age of 33, I started learning all these information. So at the age of 32, I found the pinnacle of a lot of things. And at 33, I mastered everything there is to this life. And I feel like I'm missing a little bit of sprinkles of stuff to actually know a little bit of everything, like most things. But I feel like I have the recipe, not everything, but I think I have a good amount of recipe to become successful at what I want to do. So Magic Gathering 1983, now I wonder why I can't be in this game and I actually hate the community. It makes perfect sense now. Oh my god, dude. Let's go. 2020. Doom Eternal, the game I don't like. For some reason, I despise it. It came out on my enemy year. Last of Us 2, I never got into it. Animal Crossing New Horizons, I played it, but for some reason I got bored with it real quick. And I still like the game, but there's something about it that I'm just not drawn into it for some odd reason. Like most of these games, man, I'm not drawn into them. Look at other games that came out on my sign. Back for Blood. There was two people that were telling me, get the game, get the game. I never got it, and now I understand why. Resident Evil Village. I really like the game, but I'm not really drawn into it. It's one of the very few Resident Evils that I haven't even platinum yet, and now I understand why. Because the energy, not like. there for me. I have to really put in the effort in order to 100% another game, Far Cry game. Far Cry 4 and 6, I have not planned on it. I don't know when Far Cry 4 came out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out in an enemy year. Wait, when did Far Cry 4 came out though? I want to know. 2000. Oh, that's actually on my year. I don't know. I just really need to get really into this more. I like 4 more than 6, but for some reason I just don't like 6. When I saw so many people uh, putting on comments that it was like the best Far Cry, I'm like, damn, it's like I'm seeing the same thing with the Doom Eternal community saying that Doom Eternal's the best game. I'm like, I never understood. Now I know why. Now I know why because of the energy, man. Energy is an enemy sign for me. And most of these games are like I'm not really 100% drawn into go for another enemy you're sign for me. I like the first one more than the second one, even though I think the second one has better characters. Now I understand why. I honestly think this is probably one of the worst RE titles of the series, but it's not a bad game. It's an awesome game, but now I see why I'm not drawn into it. Came out on an enemy sign, man. And all of these games, they're not necessarily bad games. Like Fracture Butthole is an amazing game. I like Stick of Truth, but now I understand why I like Stick of Truth over Fracture Butthole. It came out an enemy sign, and people who favored Fracture Butthole, I wouldn't be surprised if it's if it came if they were born on a favorable sign that is favorable to 2017, but not for me for some reason. Anyways, let me wrap this video up and see what else that I'm gonna mention before I put the stream. I'm gonna start applying this information to my daily life. I don't want this to completely consume me because it's crazy, dude, how now I understand why I am the way I am, and it's freaking deep, dude. It's really, really deep. And I wish I knew this information 10, 15 years ago. The reason why I'm actually doing this video is because I care about you guys. But hey, some people don't want to actually get this information out there. Now, one thing that GG33 mentioned about 1983, he said that roosters were very aggressive. Any game that is very aggressive and it's like the first title, you know how Mortal Kombat came out? What perfect time. Now I see why Perfect Dark Mortal Kombat, sorry. I don't know why I mentioned Perfect Dark. Now we mentioned why Mortal Kombat is still around even though the company saw a lot of setbacks. Midway got bankrupt and then it went to another company and then I think it went to like two or three different companies. But no matter what, since Mortal Kombat started in 1993, which is the energy of the rooster that is favorable for what it does best at that game. That's why it didn't went bankrupt. That's why it's still around to this day. There's a lot of underrated games that are good. But guess what? The series died. Command and Conquer is one of them. Command and Conquer came out, what was it, 1995? Now, if Command and Conquer, when did Warcraft 1 came out? I don't know what's the zodiac for this. I know it's funny that Warcraft 2 came out in 2002, which is my energy. Now I see why I actually excel at this game. Well, not Warcraft 1, but at Warcraft 2. Not Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, damn it. Came out in 2002. Now I understand why. I mean it all makes perfect sense, but of course, I don't like the community and I don't want the community to push my buttons as to actually make me a very competitive person. I feel like as an adult now that I'm in my 30s, like, you know what? I'm gonna rationalize and do actually explore other endeavors. I feel like I don't have to prove myself or other people that I can actually become really good at something. appreciate it, and I'm thankful to actually play Warcraft 3. The community, it was enjoyable, it was addicting, it was amazing, it was it was an honorful experience. But you know what? It's not for me, and that's the reason why I've been wanting to quit this past several months until something really ticked it off, and I managed to quit. And it's like if you're not 100% at something, which I wasn't, like I needed to do other endeavors. If you're not making money, or if you're that person that has no life and you want to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be 4 years, I'm gonna be in my basement, my mom's basement or whatever, and play that game, and it's like that energy is favorable to you, which Warcraft 3 was for me, you're gonna excel at the game proportions to whatever you want to do, you're gonna excel. Like, if I really wanted to and I really put effort and time into this, if I played this every day, I can be like at the regular game, I'm saying. I can probably enter tournaments and might probably end up winning money, but you know what? I don't want to go there. And yeah, I'm gonna cut this stream, and hopefully this was very informative for you guys. If you want to open up a business, there's other factors. Listen to this video. I'm gonna put these links on this video, so check them out. Especially this one's very, very important. All right, take care, everybody. Peace.